So it is just right here. Oh, stream is live.
Yes, we're live. Sorry, we are live. Hey, David.
What's up,
Welcome
Sarah?
to Real Estate Coffee Talk. You brought water. What kind of
I had two coffees, okay? And I'm just
listen?
like trying to keep my
I'm
teeth
like,
white, okay? I was like I need to drink more water.
jack this up. How? Okay, let me put my phone to that. I know I've done 3 of these already, so it's funny. I'm like, first of all, I'm not even drinking that much tea today because I feel like crap. And then 2, I'm like, I can't drink a coffee for when I do 4 interviews. So I actually have tea, but whatever. It's the thought that counts.
Yeah,
Welcome to Real Estate Coffee Talk.
appreciate
Um,
you having me.
yeah. So David works for True Homes. If you live in the North South Carolina area, definitely one of everyone's favorite builders.
Oh
But
yeah.
I love like every rep that I've worked with, that I've done stuff with. I've loved kind of getting to know and having that experience with. So, David, True Homes is awesome place to work for, but you yourself are an awesome person. So, tell us a little bit more about
Thank
you,
you.
kind of how you got started in real estate and all that stuff.
So I mean, probably like 40% of realtors, everyone got their license during COVID. I was one of those,
Yes,
right?
I was right before, but I'm with
Yeah.
you.
It was
Yeah,
well, because COVID gave a lot of people like a wake up call. I just happen to have 2 other wake up calls happen
yeah,
where you're like, hey, I need to do more. Or I need a side hustle, or I need to
right,
leave this high cost of living state because I could lose my job at any moment.
right.
So, I mean, I got into real estate mainly because what was it? The year before, I found out my wife was pregnant.
Yeah,
And then that's when I left. I was working at Enterprise Rent a Car. That's the job I moved down here with, Enterprise Rent a Car. So I ran a couple of their stores. Like I just kept bouncing store to store and kept getting promoted, and it was great. But
yeah,
then once I found out my wife was pregnant, I was like, I need more work life balance.
right. Yeah.
And then I did medical device sales, great money. I just hated traveling
I
to.
was gonna say no balance at
There
all.
was, yeah, I was
Yeah,
like, I mean, there was because like you made your own schedule, but I still had to be in a different city every week.
yeah. Traveling is exhausting.
Yeah, I went to every hospital in the Carolinas. Then COVID happened, then they wouldn't let me in the hospitals.
Oh
So
my.
then that's where the real estate thing came in. It was like, well, I don't know what if we were just watching more real estate shows online. I don't know what it was, but I just was
Yeah,
like, real estate license.
yeah.
And
Let's
then
see.
people were like, yeah, you should do it. And luckily I got it pretty quick because I mean, we were in a shutdown. What else are you doing?
Right. Well, and at that time, they also moved a lot of the stuff online. So I got
Mhm.
licensed in 2018 here. There were no online classes, and that
Man.
wasn't even that long before. So I had to go to like the 70 whatever hour class.
Mm-mm.
So I think that also, and at that time, my I had just left the job I was at forever. So my youngest was still in daycare, which allowed me to go there during the day. But for most people, if they have
That's
kids at
hard.
home, so that online thing really opens it up for a lot of
Yeah.
people.
Stayed on the
All right.
weekends.
Yeah. All right. So you got your real estate license. So then what did you start doing right away? Did you get into new home sales right away,
I
or did
joined a firm, try to do it part time. And if
you?
any agent has done it part time, it's not easy
Right.
because it's like you have to you have to treat it like your business, or it's
Right.
it's not. It's hard. It's hard to get going because it's like, oh yeah, can you show me houses? Then it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
but I can only do it during this time, and
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. Right.
and the hard part is lead generation. How are you supposed to lead generate when you're working?
Yeah.
I
Work.
mean, that's the name of the job. That's when I
Yeah.
really found out, like, when you're an entrepreneur, your job is leads. It's
Right.
marketing.
Yeah. That
Everything
is
is marketing.
Yeah.
Um, so I did it part time, but then at the same time, I was also hating medical device sales. So I was trying to get out of it. And I said, well, let me get a new job that has to do with real estate
Yeah.
because it'll make me a better agent. And so I said, okay, it's either marketing or mortgages. And
Right.
then I chose mortgages because I found a lender who was a salaried employee. Because at the same time, I said, well, I can't just go out full commission. I just had a baby.
Yeah.
Um, I just just took the risk to rent out my house because I just learned that I should be buying more real estate. So let me rent out my house and go buy another. Which means I need W-2 income because I can't buy
Right.
another one with,
Without it.
1090. So I took
Right.
this job at a mortgage company and they told me I couldn't do real estate anymore.
Oh my God.
So I hung up my real estate license, but then I realized I had a passion I was like, I like numbers a lot. So I did mortgages for 2 years.
Yeah.
And I liked it. I loved it. I was good at it. I think I learned a lot about, money and just like kind of how money, I just got obsessed with like, YouTube videos, TikToks, anything that had to do with like real estate, investing,
Right.
mutual funds. I was just like, you got to follow what the rich people are doing to get
I
out of the
know.
rat race, right?
And hold on, stay right there. We're gonna put a quick pause on this because this thing is not connecting for some reason. And I don't want people to get frustrated because all right. Well, whatever. We're just gonna have to record. I guess it's not gonna work. Okay. So what made you get out of now mortgages and get into new home sales?
Well, okay, so let's see, mortgages, it's not going. So I actually was with that mortgage company, got recruited to another startup mortgage company while my first mortgage company was laying people off because now rates are going bad.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I'm probably going to get laid off. I made friends with the CEO before I left, and he was just like, yeah, we're just doing a massive layoff. Like it's going to be hard to save people. But he liked me. But I went and did it with this other startup because they kind of recruited me. They gave me a bonus.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't what it was. It wasn't greener on the other side.
Right.
I was going to leave mortgages altogether. Then the CEO of their original company said, come back and just work right under me. I could hire you under me. Then I started learning a lot. But then the layoffs just kept happening. They just kept happening. And I was like, you know what? I actually feel better about mortgages and real estate. Now I might go do it on my own. Let me go do it on my own.
Yeah.
But a spot at True Homes opened up. So I'm at this builder. I built a house with this builder and I built 2 houses with another builder with 2 different builders.
Oh wow.
And I was like, okay. I remember the first house I still had, it's a rental. I liked it. The experience and these other 2 places were not good. Real estate and mortgages will always be there. Why not give it a shot?
Yeah.
So I just really got a new home sale. What was it?
If you're going to pick a builder, True Homes is a good one to pick. Like I would say, if I was going to go work for a builder in this area, I'd rather work for True Homes. I think they have a really good reputation, like with agents. There was in one of those Facebook groups, there was someone with a builder who shall remain nameless, but they're paying out and it wasn't this agent's fault, obviously, that the on-site agent, but they're paying real estate agents $1,500, right?
Yeah.
For a commission. And this poor guy comes in as like just trying to sell a house. Like, we have this inventory, and he got chewed up and spit out. Like, how dare you come in here? We don't want your product. But I was like, man, I kind of felt bad for him. But yeah, I would rather work with someone who, agents liked, because they can be a hard.
That was like the main thing.
Yeah.
That was just the main thing. If I was like, if I'm going to go join a builder, I don't want to pitch a product that I don't like believe in.
Right.
And I don't want to be hated by the people I'm contacting.
Right.
Like, hey, it's like, yeah, you're contacting me. I get it. Like builders right now, there's no inventory, right?
Yes.
So everyone's thinking that like,
yeah,
builders are just getting it easy. And we are.
Right.
But not sometimes, because to build an affordable house, you still have to be a little further. And then, it still leads. You still got to find people that are willing to buy at these rates. And you got to kind of educate home buyers. But yeah, I just didn't want to have to worry about all that other stuff. I wanted to be, it's like, oh, no issue on the product. Realtors believing in us and how we treat them.
Yeah.
I wanted to focus more time on,
do your job then.
Yeah.
Okay. So I want to kind of into your finance stuff. So I know your daughter being born, of course, like lit a fire under you to probably get all this stuff in order, which which that's the great thing about kids. They'll push you to do stuff maybe you wouldn't have normally done, right? So I know you want to learn more about like financial management and growth and all that stuff. So what are you doing with that? Like what changes did you make? What in your personal life, but also that
Mhm.
you help people with?
Yeah. So I always liked math. Math was the one subject I liked. My dad bought me like math computer games and stuff. So that's all I liked. Like I hated reading. Like I just hated doing it.
It's so funny.
Um, so it just kind of fit in. I think that's why like real estate and finance, and I just needed to be in this somewhat of an industry.
Right.
That way it was part of my job. And you know how like when you wake up in the morning and some people just don't want to get out of bed, but then
Yeah.
if like it's something that you're passionate about, like for me, like back then it was basketball. I can't wake up at 5 a.m. for no reason. But if it was for like a basketball game, you
Right.
wake up with a little more energy because you want
Yeah.
to do it.
Right.
It's once I found myself like, hey, I'm like waking up and I'm like enjoying, like I want to go learn more finance. Yeah, I was on my daughter was born. I was like, okay, how to set up retirement accounts. I started talking to financial advisors and I was like, hey, I don't want to just buy life insurance or set up retirement accounts. I kind of want to like why. I want to know why.
Right.
Like,
Right.
what's the numbers behind it? Why should I be doing it? And they don't teach this stuff in school. Right? They
No,
just won't.
no, not at all.
Um,
And not I mean, I don't know about you, but not even in my family was a lot of that stuff discussed. They didn't my family didn't know how to grow wealth. I mean, they were just surviving.
You bring up a good point. I mean, that's probably what did it for me.
Mhm.
It's almost like it pissed me off
Yeah.
because I grew up, I was a firstborn American. My dad was born in Bogota, my
Mhm.
mom in Medellin, Colombia. I
Yeah.
was born in Staten Island, but I have most of my family still in Colombia, right?
Right.
My dad worked as a school teacher in New York and then H&R Block. You would think he's good with numbers. Not saying he wasn't, but
Yeah.
we lived in an apartment
Right.
my whole life. We bought our first house at the same time.
Yeah.
When I moved to North Carolina and it's really just because they don't teach like that you didn't have to put 20% down or that there's program like that you should be building wealth. That condo that we lived in should have rented that thing out when I was a kid and then bought a house. But
Yeah.
us Latinos, we're just comfortable. We're like, yeah, this is
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was no like wealth building
Well,
education.
you don't know what you don't know. That's the thing. Like me and my sister always, talk about this. My husband is in the financial planning industry, and he's same thing. He grew up similarly, and he's like, man, you know, like for example, 529 plans. Like when
Yeah,
my older kids, my son's getting ready to go off to college. It's wild in these Facebook groups to hear what these like they're like light years ahead of me,
mm,
as far as like what they knew. So when they were like pregnant, they start putting together these
yeah,
plans for their kids and stock away money. And then I was talking to a guy who, he sold an investment property. He was like, "Oh yeah, when college comes, I won't be too stressed. We put, 50,000 into each of their accounts and we're just gonna let it sit." And I'm like, I didn't even know what a 529 plan was
exactly.
years ago,
That
right? So
that's what it was. I had the conversation with my cousin, who's a financial planner in Jersey.
yeah.
I'm now thinking about getting my insurance and retirement planning license, like in the middle of doing that,
Yeah.
just because it's like, why didn't we know this?
Yeah.
And it's just because it wasn't talked to. There's no social media, so it's like
Right.
you're not just scrolling one day and you're like, oh, what's this about? My dad wasn't scrolling TikTok,
Right.
30 years ago. Now, my daughter's born. First thing, I immediately opened up an account. That way, by the time she's 15,
Yeah.
it's fully funded. It's just moving up. Yeah, I'm not worried about a car or college or
Yeah.
because I started right away. Thank God I just didn't know that. And
Yeah.
that's once I got my real estate license, honestly, I hear that real estate and insurance and mortgages are really those three where you start really learning like about the financial world. And now you
Right.
start getting interested in like, okay, building wealth, not just like making a buck and then spending it, making a buck and then
Right.
saving it.
Right. And
It's
the kind of
yeah.
like the long-term strategies that people You know, like you said, like we just thought when we were growing up, I was just like, oh, you get a raise. Okay.
Mhm.
But we always, you know, you live in the same apartment. No one talked about paying for college. No one talked about investing in anything. I mean, and if they had a 401k, it was like, oh, my job hasn't. They just signed them up, but it wasn't, you know, any sort of strategy to it.
Yeah.
So it's so good that you learn young. And I think that's like social media, you know, is a blessing and a curse, but I think it's so good for that stuff. My son he just turned 18. He's like obsessed with wealth. You know, I
Yeah.
mean, he watches all the things. And I'm like, you are gonna go so much further because I mean, I knew a little bit more and I tried to give him a little bit more, but also he has access to all this information. And now he's gonna know before he even starts his, you
Mhm.
know, adult life of how to do this stuff. So it's pretty cool. Okay. So what do you wish real estate agents knew about managing their own money? I've been told, or I don't know if it's an urban legend, but we are notoriously bad. Like my husband works for a financial services company. They always I hear them on their conference calls and they talk about real estate agents and we're notoriously like poor planners when it comes to finances. So what do you wish they knew about managing their own money?
Well, a lot of people, from what I understand, because I got into real estate and then I immediately got into
More.
what to use,
Yeah,
use your money. A lot of new agents, when they're fresh, and if they're not into money and like math like I do,
right,
are going into it for the commission checks,
right.
right?
Yeah,
Oh man, I can make this much commission. And then they learn really quickly that it's like, it's lead generation. If you could generate leads, yeah, you'll make money,
right,
but it's
right.
all about lead gen. But the
Yeah.
problem is that, yeah, setting aside money for taxes, or if it's not taxes, like, hey, well, what are you going to do with your money? Don't You're just going to spend it, or are you going to invest it? What are some of the things you can do?
Right.
I think, especially in real estate, you should use some of your money to like invest in yourself, like
Yeah.
maybe get another license that has to do with real estate. Maybe, could be a loan officer, could be life insurance.
Right.
um, how you got to spend a little bit of money, in marketing, like
Right.
Facebook ads, or like a social media manager like you, to get
Yeah.
your face out there.
Yeah.
um, Setting aside money there. I really don't like Dave Ramsey, except for like one thing that he says is like, hey, you should always have this amount of money in the bank at all times.
Yeah.
I see it happen. 3 to 6 months worth of expenses. I
Yeah.
think everyone needs to, on an Excel sheet. I have one on my Instagram and a link in my bio that I made one. That's the one I use.
Yeah.
I tweak it every now and then. I haven't tweaked it in a while, but you got to list down all of your expenses, all of them. You have to know how much money you spend every month.
Yeah. It can be jaw dropping.
Yeah.
Here's 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 the thing that I've struggled with just personally as a real estate agent is when I came from like the 9 to 5 life into this is how do agents like budget, right? Because one month you might be making $0 or whatever, maybe closing one deal. The next month you're closing 3 deals. What are some good ways for agents to like budget? Like how do they do that when everything is so fluctuating?
Just that calculator. It's just like you have to budget because everything changes. It's
Yeah.
just an average. Like
Okay.
it's just a monthly. It's just like lenders. Everything is monthly.
Yeah.
I mean, you could do it annually or you could do it monthly, but I would say monthly.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you need to know what your monthly expenses are. Everything we do is monthly,
Right. Right.
right?
Yeah.
Like, your electricity bill, your phone bill, your car payment, your mortgage, everything is monthly. So I think that's the best way to do it, by
Yeah.
putting in a calculator how much you think you're going to make or how much you make.
Yeah.
And then writing down every expense. I mean, I have in my little calculator, I have a haircut as an
Mhm.
expense, like
Oh, yeah.
everything. I think of anything I can possibly spend my money on. And then it's also eye dropping because you're like, okay, I spend how much per month? 3,000, 5,000.
I
Maybe I
know.
should call my car insurance company and see if they'll lower my bill. Maybe I should
Right.
get rid of this coffee,
Or
or
like this
maybe,
random subscription. Like I just did mine recently. I found out somehow someone put an extra Amazon subscription under like a movie subscription.
Yeah.
So either my husband or one of my kids must have been like doing a trial on one of these things, and now I've been getting charged $9.99 for 3 months. That drives me nuts. So things like that, or like
Yeah.
your Starbucks habit, eating out. I know during COVID, we lost track of our spending during that craziness for a little while. And then when we went back, we were looking like the amount we were getting food from outside because there was like nothing else to do. I
Mhm.
can't stay home like that. So I was like losing my mind getting food out here, there. And I was like, we spent how much on
Yeah.
food just for excitement? Yeah, it's oh my gosh.
I look at my calculator at say like every like 3 months, and
Yeah,
I just scroll through it real quick, and I'm like, did anything change? Like,
right.
do we go out more than I think we go out?
Yeah,
Do I have in there an annual budget for like travel?
yeah,
Like, hey, are our vacations more than this? Do I really spend more than this on like? But at least now I know. Like, and it says right at the bottom, here's your monthly expenses,
yeah.
and then your monthly residual, like on top of.
Left over. Yeah,
Because I have your expenses are your expenses. Those aren't going to change. You're going to go to the grocery store and go out to eat and blah blah blah.
right.
Then after that, I have investing, but not really investing. Like that stuff, like retirement to
Yeah,
me isn't really investing.
yeah, yeah.
Like
That's
that's something you have to do,
right, right.
especially because I'm learning that they're about to get rid of Social Security.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
so many agents
don't
are not socking away anything for
you
retirement.
gotta pay
Yeah.
you gotta pay your 60-year-old self.
Future self. Yes,
You got
because you feel young and my yeah, you feel young for so long and then you
Mhm.
just suddenly get like to this age. I mean, I'm 41 and I think it's just like all these like expenses now. I'm like
Yeah.
college and then 2 more years more college. And yeah, luckily at my job I was working at when I was like 20, the day I turned 21, the payroll lady was like, "We're gonna open you up." It was a nonprofit. She was like, "We're gonna open you up a 403b account." And at that
Mm.
time, that was back in 2003 or something.
Yeah.
That company was contributing. If you were contributing 15%, they contributed 15%. It was nuts for a while.
Game.
So
I'm
yeah, so
game.
I was at that time, she was like, "You're putting in 15%." I was 21 years old, and then they dropped it from like 8 to like 5 by the time I
Yeah.
left. But still, I built up so much like compound interest during that time.
Mhm.
Thank God. But I talked to so many people, and they're like, they're just my age
Yeah.
or upper 40s, 50s. I have nothing set up. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my,
So I'm glad you said that because that's another thing like I've learned. So when it comes to like finance, number one, you have to do your day to day. So I'm kind of going to talk like Dave Ramsey a little bit, but I'm not.
no,
I
I
don't
know.
like some of his ideology. But the
Yeah,
first
some
thing
good
is
stuff.
you
Yeah.
have to know how much you're spending.
Right,
A lot of
right.
people have absolutely. I think it's like they say 65% of Americans don't know how much they're spending every month.
Right.
So then how do you know how much you can save or retire or invest or like, oh man, I need to go get a side hustle or I need to
Right.
trim some fat off this. You have to know. So that's number one is write down your expenses. Everyone, not just realtors, but realtors should as well, because some of those could be write-offs. And then pay your future self. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you have a job, put the match in.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put more than the match in. Some people are like, oh, I put 10%. If my company's only matching 3%, I'm
Yeah.
only putting 3, and then that other money, I will invest it, but I,
That's
I
right.
want to invest in something else
Yeah.
where I'm only putting it because I'm getting 100% return. They're matching it. That's great.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Um, yeah, because liquid, if no one knows what the term liquid means, it's like I can take my money out at any time. You
Yeah.
can't do that with a 401k. So that's
Mhm.
why I don't want to put more than the match,
Right.
because I'd
Right.
rather put it in something like a money market account, maybe a real estate deal, something I can just take it out if I want it sometimes.
Yeah.
Um, but
Or
yeah, number one, you got to pay some retirement, something. I
yeah.
like life insurance. I do.
Yeah.
The more I'm learning about it, I like it. So
Mhm.
that's a good one. And then yeah, investing in. I like going to YouTube videos, probably like your son, just learning like,
Yeah.
oh, there's just so much mutual funds and
Yeah.
REITs and all these things where you could park your money, but you could take it out,
Yeah.
liquid, when you don't feel like it, you know, and then some of the long-term plays where you can only take it out at 60, but it grows great. And then obviously real estate.
Yeah. And a lot too of realtors don't have their money. It don't have their money in real estate, which, if you're selling it, you might as well, you can find a deal at any time.
Well, because they don't see it as they just see the commission checks
They just
first.
don't see it. Yeah, exactly. It becomes a job. And I've said this on a million podcasts, and I'm not knocking. There's so many successful real estate agents, and I was never uber successful. I don't think I have what it takes. But I see so many that have not built a business, like you say. So
Mhm.
they're still running around after 20, 30 years, like chasing, doing,
The
having
commission,
someone else chasing, doing that like roller coaster instead of having built this steady business. And that to me is like scary. Um, so if a realtor is watching right now and they're like, okay, what's like the first step I should take to try to get like I'm a mess, I'm a financial mess. What's the first thing or the first couple of things I should do to just start getting myself on track? Because I think a lot of people, I know myself when it comes to money, I'm an avoider and just like, oh gosh, if there's not enough for
like
me,
that's my wife.
yeah, I don't like talking about it. It stresses me out. But for those kind of people, like, what are just some of the simple things they could do? What should they put into play first to start getting better?
Cool. Actually, that's funny. I had this conversation with an old enterprise employee of mine.
Yeah.
So, and it's fun. And she got back on track. So that was cool. And that's why I do it, because I want to like help. I
Yeah.
used to be a basketball coach, a math teacher before all this stuff. So I like the education part.
Yes.
I like when the eyes click. The
Yeah.
one thing is definitely the calculator.
Yeah.
Make one of your own. If you want a free one, it's on the link in my bio on my Instagram. You could download it, have fun. I played around with it, but it's a good starting point. Just list it all down. Just list it all down. You got to see for yourself
Face it.
how much you make, how much you spend, because
Yeah.
that's the wake up call. And then you'll say, okay, cool. And then some people think they have no money. And then the calculator is like, you got $500 at the end of every month, apparently.
Yeah. So
Plus, after all expenses, you're plus 500 every month. So I don't know if you lied somewhere,
finding money. Yeah.
but you're
Right.
spending more than you think. But that's a good one. And just doing that step, just doing it, I think makes people a little bit more responsible. They're like, okay, they're getting in the
Yeah.
habit of, all right, now what am I going to do with my money? And then it's about learning how you're spending your money, aka credit cards, your credit score.
Yeah.
I don't use a debit card.
Yeah.
I just don't. I don't even know where mine is.
Yeah.
Because I'm in that headset of responsible human being.
Yeah.
I don't use what I don't have, but I swipe it, pay it off, swipe it,
Pay
pay it off, because you get
Yeah.
2% back. 2%
Yeah.
adds up. If your
Mhm.
boss gave you a 2% raise, how much money is that?
Yeah.
Just
Especially
use your credit card every day, and there you go. You just got yourself a 2% raise.
as long as you've managed to get yourself into that place where you're responsible. Because I
Yeah.
think also when you're not in that spot,
Mhm.
they, that's how they allure you almost with the 2%. And it is really good if you're responsible. But if you're
Yes.
not, then they're like, haha, we gave you 2%, but we charged you 27% interest. So,
Yep. Got to be
so
responsible with that.
yeah,
Lowering monthly payments. So you could call your auto insurance, your T-Mobile rep, and just shop
yeah,
around. It's annoying at times, but
yeah,
it gets those debts down. But I think that's the main thing is
just
the
knowing what
debt part is you just got to organize it, because you don't know. The income part is, go if you can't get a raise.
yeah.
I mean, last year I had 4 W-2s,
Oh my God.
not 2023, 2022. I'm
Oh,
not scared to leave a job.
yeah, yeah,
A lot of people are scared because they're like, I got to start over and I got to look. And I'm like, know your worth.
yeah.
If you feel like you can make more money elsewhere, you just got to go look, because you probably can.
Right.
Don't be
Oh,
scared.
1000%.
30 years ago, it was a bad thing to say like, oh, I was at this job for 6 months.
Yeah,
And people are scared about that, about having too much on their resume.
right.
In today's world, if you worked at the same company for 30 years, you're a one-trick pony to them now. You're like, that's all you know how to do?
Yep. I had that exact situation. I was at the same company from the time I was 20
Mm-hmm.
to the time I was like 36 or 37. And it was crazy because when I left, I was well compensated and I worked from home. And so that's really the reason, I never left. But then when I left, I mean, that's another reason why I got into real estate is because I was seeing what the jobs were and I was like, oh gosh, I'm almost like overpaid here. Whereas
Mm-hmm.
I should have left and gotten like the skills somewhere because I couldn't prove it, So it's like,
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather just work for myself. But that's the
True.
great thing about real estate. If you need to pad your income, if you like when it comes to, again, I know I keep talking about college, but that's all I think about lately. So, when it comes to like paying a college tuition, I'm like, luckily, we are both, my husband and I are both commission type.
Mm-hmm.
He gets base and commission, but so we can be like, oh, if we need to make another $1,000 a month, it's fairly easy when you're
Yeah.
self-employed. When you're not, you really gotta figure it out. So that's a
Yeah.
great thing about real estate and gives you a lot of leverage. So if you look at that spreadsheet, you're like, all right, to pay off this $10,000 of credit card, I really need to squeeze in one more deal in David's community.
Mm-hmm.
That will pay off your $10,000
Yep.
credit card. So that's a great thing about seeing it. All right. So along with that, so tell us about your coaching business and what you do and how people can find out more about it.
So it's something I'm starting fairly soon. Once I finish my life insurance,
Yeah. Yeah.
because I did used to help people like build their credit.
Right.
And then now retirement planning.
Right.
But I feel like that person, what I'm finding is that the person that really has that wake up call is the homeowner.
Right.
Right. Or the realtor, like the person who wants to be an entrepreneur, because that's the kick in the butt, or like, hey, I need to do more with my life and
Right.
leveraging your time. Like, so I don't have enough time to
Yeah.
speak with everyone. So I am going to start doing like maybe coaching calls. I'll probably add it to the link in, my bio. My little website has a few things. Maybe I'll start like a YouTube channel, because what I'm
Yeah.
finding is I'm having the same conversation all the time. How do you build your credit?
Absolutely.
You know,
Yes. And it's under it, like in this industry 4 or 5 years, 6 years, I have not seen a lot of people like speaking specifically to realtors about this type of stuff.
yeah.
So I think it could be really good. Well, you let me know when it's all there.
Yeah. And
And
and I think the main thing it stemmed from is with my cousin, because what happened is my cousin, he's 20, he's in New Jersey, Christian Madrid.
oh my
If you're
gosh.
listening, little shout out to you. Pretty
Shout
much
out.
proud of him, because one day I talked to him. I love obviously the young people that just have grind. There's less risk. They're living at home.
Right.
And he picked up a camera, started shooting, and he was making some money on the side, just like
Yeah.
a realtor would, right?
Yeah.
He's working his job at Target, and we're doing numbers, and I'm like, I know this is scary, but I think you should quit your Target job, because you're working 32 hours a week. What could 32 hours to your business do if you
Right.
have that same time? It's like, yeah, you're not making money, but like you have the time to then go make the money. It's gonna, but and he was and then you're able to concentrate. That's why the part-time agent, it's definitely tough and
Yeah.
it's scary, but that's why I wanted to put in the little drop of, don't be scared that if you fail, just go get another job. There's jobs out there.
Right.
Don't be
Exactly.
scared that you're gonna go find another job. Hell,
Yeah.
I've had a lot of jobs. I do a lot of a lot of
Yeah.
interviews.
You have
Don't
to
be scared,
find.
and you might get paid more at the new job.
Yeah.
You're,
Exactly.
you're just scared of the process of trying to do it all over again. But yeah, my
Right.
cousin quit his job, and then he was on tour with like this Mexican rapper. He went to Mexico, Ohio. He's with some DJs in New Jersey, Fetty Wap, Neo,
Oh my god.
Sean Kingston. He's filming a whole bunch of clubs
Oh
and
my god.
promoters, and he's young, and he just
Yeah.
opened up his first studio in Rahway, New Jersey. And he's young. He's 21
Oh
now.
my
So,
god.
and it's really just because of that time he had because he got in that mindset of like, okay,
I'm
it's
a
gonna
business
suck at the
owner.
beginning, but I just gotta like organize myself, grind it out,
Right.
um, put my money in the right places. And then we talked about like, pay off the credit cards first. It's
Yeah.
okay if you're paying off a car,
Yeah.
yeah, just learning about where to put your money, what
Yeah.
makes the most sense.
Oh my gosh, I love that so much. That
Yeah.
makes me so happy.
I
Like,
see a lot of realtors leave the industry because they get discouraged because like I was when you're part-time and you're like, all right, this isn't worth it. Like I ain't have the time to do this. It's like you don't,
yeah,
but
no,
do you
it's
hate your job?
yeah,
Because maybe you should, if you have money saved up in the bank,
yeah.
you could use that, invest in yourself, give it a try for 3 months full-time real estate, then
See
see what
what
happens and see.
give
And they're
it
like, oh, okay, this could be my job, but you got
yeah,
to give it the time.
yeah. Because and the thing is, you end up getting frustrated with both sides. That's actually why I stopped selling real estate to do this because I was like,
Yeah.
I'm doing a little bit too much of both, and I don't feel like I'm doing either one really well. And
Hmm.
it wasn't until I put like all my concentration on one side that it ended up, doing better. So, okay, love that. Love the financial coaching thing. So, we're gonna put all your links in here, but you can follow David. Are you on Instagram at Better Be Silva D too?
Yeah. So that was like a little catchphrase that I was going to do when I did real estate. Like,
Yeah,
who are you going to call? Better be Silva D.
Silva D. Well,
Because,
who's gonna call for your finances? Or you
yeah, better be Silva D.
just
Everything. Better be Silva D on TikTok, Instagram,
everywhere.
Facebook.
That's perfect.
That was actually like a little theme that I came up with. What is it? When I first started, I didn't even mention this. I
Mhm.
was going to start a YouTube channel, Be Better Mindset,
Oh
that I
yeah.
was not allowed to start because then I started the mortgage company's YouTube channel. So Be
Oh,
Better Mindset was a clothing brand and
yeah.
like an inspirational type of thing to get people. And this is kind of what the coaching thing will be. It'll be Better Mindset.
Yes.
So Be Better Mindset. I had like shirts for sale where I was selling. Still, link in my bio. It's there. I give 100% profits to charities,
Oh,
like youth financial literacy. It's a
yeah.
program trying to help bring financial literacy into schools. Um, Golden Door Scholars, Road to Hire. These are like DACA,
Yeah.
Latino kids born in another country and then came here earlier. Hard time getting jobs, but they're placing
Yeah.
them jobs. So there's a couple of charities that I do. Um,
I
the
love
whole mindset thing and growth and wealth is Be Better Mindset. So that was the catchphrase. And then Silva D Realty was going to be my real estate company.
thing.
So like Better Be Silva
So
D,
better be Silva
a
D.
little catchphrase thing and
No,
I was
that's
like, hey, I'll
perfect.
do my thing.
You cannot. So across all, I think like the best place for them to start is probably like your website because I looked and um, it was pretty robust. And did you have the link to your freebie calculator on there?
Yes, calculators on there. All my social medias are on there. My TikTok, my Instagram, my Facebook, my phone
Perfect.
number.
But
Um, yeah.
everything. They'll
So
call
my
us right now.
t-shirt website is still up.
Everything.
You buy it. I haven't gotten. I had a graphic designer that I wanted to add in to put more like quotes on t-shirts, like
Yeah.
action greater than words. But
Yeah.
that was one I had on a t-shirt that um, actually the CEO of Better Mortgage bought like 8,000 shirts and gave them to the employees and stuff like that. So
Oh, I
that was
love
kind
that.
of cool. And then
Yeah.
we donate. So I wanted to start that again. Is really just I've been busy with True Homes.
I
So
know, I know. You got a
um,
lot going on.
now I might have a partner at True Homes, so I might have more time to now dedicate with like kind of
Right.
more YouTube and passive income and
Yeah, all that
yeah.
stuff. I think that there is a huge need for it. So I think once you get that launch, you're gonna have it's gonna go really good. So find Dave. I'm gonna link everything in the comments and of course the show notes, but better be Silva D. Get all your stuff, download his
Better be
budget
CBD.
calculator. I'm gonna go check it out myself.
Yeah.
And then if you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the comments later. I'll tag him and we'll come back and ask. And then that will be all.
Yeah.
I know you have an appointment to sell another home soon. So
Hopefully. Yeah, I
I'm
got two
gonna
more. I
I'm
would
gonna
say, and the only other thing is that was all me. All of you heard wasn't even professionally. That's my personal side. Like that's just like my hobby. I like
yeah,
hanging out with the wife, the daughter, but numbers. I just love numbers. I used to play college basketball. I wish I can get out more. But professionally, yeah, True Homes. Like what I do every day to day, I'm just selling new homes in
yes.
Union County, Lancaster County. You
Yeah,
got a
so
picky
for the
buyer.
like North South Carolina agents, tell them what you're doing down there, what's available. I love what you said about the community you're sitting in. So tell them a little something.
Yeah, I mean, so if you don't already know True Homes, largest private builder in the Carolinas, quality, Best quality you're going to get. It sounds
Love
biased, but I mean, I literally had 3 homes with 3 different builders, and we're the only builder that ever won an award for quality in the
Oh,
Carolinas. So
listen, I love
I
them.
like to spit facts and numbers. There's no
Yes.
opinions. Just, I mean, we got an award. Can I
Yeah,
say?
yeah.
So that's why I wanted to work here. We have communities in every price point, under 300, 3 to 4, 4 to 5, 5 to 8.
Yeah.
Like we have luxury. We could build a pretty luxury home
Yeah.
in certain places. People think like, oh, so if you have houses under 300, no, we have houses over 8 too.
Right,
You
right.
know, and over 9 could get to 1 million. I'm sitting in a community where we can build all houses from literally mid 200s to the 900s, just because Edgewater here in Lancaster is True Homes' biggest project. So there's like over 4,000 possible homes here.
Oh my
There's different sections. So there's like a section for first-time home buyers with smaller homes. There's a
Mhm.
section for lakefront property, lake on the lake homes. Section for people living on the golf course. But no matter where you live, all the amenities are accessible, and we're building a $22 million project, which has like a restaurant, a bar, pickleball courts, tennis courts. Yeah,
Oh,
Edgewater has every amenity you could think of. We're
wow.
about 35 minutes from Indian Land.
Yeah,
That's where I'm at now. Target's
right.
coming there. All the growth is coming to Lancaster.
If Target and Starbucks are there, I'm there.
Yeah.
That's how I judge
Maybe.
everything, because I'm like, you can tell like what else is around.
Yeah.
Like as long as there's a Target and Starbucks are kind of like, little.
Starbucks, Chick-fil-A, those
Yeah.
places are nearby. So that tells you, I
Yeah.
mean, it's coming here, but
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I can't
I
promise
bought
you.
into Concord when I moved here in 2007 or 8. I bought into Concord. And I remember I wanted to be in Huntersville, but my brother-in-law was the age at the time, showed me a house in Concord. And I remember being like, this is the country.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
they
yeah.
had was a Harris Teeter. There was nothing else. But man, that's like that area I bought in is one of the most in-demand parts of Concord right now. And it's
Yeah.
crazy how much it built. So I like the opportunity to kind of buy in early for these communities.
Yeah.
It's a
And then
really
we're
good.
like, and then we're from the north, so everything is country.
I know.
Country.
Even like university area, I had a friend who lived there, and I was like, well, it's just that this is the country. And she's like, I'm from Iowa. This is not the country. Let me show you what the country looks like.
Yeah.
One thing, sorry, I'm gonna have to edit that out. One thing, talked to him about real quick was the True Homes. I love that even in that 300,000 kind of quote unquote starter price point, that they can build somewhat semi-custom, or they can customize things a little bit to themselves.
Yeah, I mean, we're like one of, if not the only builder that lets you choose everything.
Yeah.
So, you know, other houses for sale, usually our competitors are priced $30,000 to $35,000 more than us,
Yeah.
but they've already pre-built, they put everything in. So
Right.
you're paying for $30,000 worth of upgrades that you're like, but I wouldn't have picked that.
Right.
You have the option to just pick it all
Yeah.
and maybe even come out less, but
Yep.
you completely design the house.
Control that. Yeah.
You could pick the lot we build it on. Some builders will be like, yeah, you could pick, we'll give you a few options to choose from, but you can't pick the lot you put it on. We already know we're putting this house on that lot, right?
Yes.
There's trade-offs. With us, there's really no trade-offs. We let you pick the lot, the house. We might even let you make structural changes to the house, like,
Yeah.
you know, making a formal dining room, an open dining room, adding bathrooms, like we can do structural changes and then let you design it. So you feel like you're getting a luxury experience without having to pay that price point. It's because we're
Totally.
private.
Yeah, totally. I loved the experience. I didn't buy my own witch rooms. I would have if there was anything near me, but I helped the client do it, and it was such a great experience. So
Yeah.
I was jealous.
I love
All
doing it.
right. So before I let you go, real quick, what will David be doing 10 years from now?
10 years from now. That's a good one. So my daughter will be 14,
Oh my
right?
gosh.
Oh yeah, bouncing around. Definitely traveling.
Yeah.
I mean, at that point, I want to have built something that that runs when I'm not around.
Right.
You could call me,
Yeah.
but exploring.
Yeah.
I didn't travel too much when I was a kid because I mean my parents were grinding and they
Right.
weren't building wealth, but they
Yeah.
were grinding. I
Yeah.
respect them a lot. And my parents were older. My
Mhm.
dad had me at 52. Yeah.
Gosh.
So they didn't like come to like they came to the basketball games, but they weren't like super, you know.
Right.
homebodies,
It's hard. Yeah.
relaxed. You know,
Yeah.
I was obviously the sunshine of my mom's eye, being a boy and for a Latino mom.
Of course.
But yeah, we didn't travel. I mean, we went to Colombia. We went to
Yeah.
Colombia every other year. But
Yeah.
then, yeah, maybe like down the shore. But I want to travel. You know, just
Yeah.
experience, be there with my daughter and
Yeah.
my family. Just have the family time,
Right.
relax. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then working because I want to, not because I have to.
Exactly. And
That's
doing what
mainly
you
it.
love, being able to do what
Mhm.
you love during that time.
Yeah,
So I love that. All right. So go ahead, follow David, better be Silva D. And then we're going to tag him in here and everything, of course. So if you're an agent in the Charlotte or, North, South Carolina area and have a client looking to be in that price point, he has a lot of great options and he is a hustler. I'm telling you, he's everywhere. I love his True Homes emails and stuff. And a lot of True Homes reps are amazing, but you're really good at what you do. So we will link everything for you, and I will let you go to your appointment. Good luck. Sell a house.
appreciate it.
All
Hoping to
right.
partner with all of you. If
All
I can
right.
get you leads, you get leads. I get leads, so
Bring
I'll
them
help
in.
you get leads.
Exactly. And then help you manage your commission after that.
Absolutely.
All right. Have a good one, David. I'll talk
All
to you
right, see
soon.
you guys.
Goodbye.